What is up guys, Speed here, and today we are back with another video. And recently 7.22 came out, and for whatever reason Icefrog decided that he just wanted to throw out another patch. So here we are, 7.22b, very short patch. So this is going to be a short video, kind of just covering like an update video, just to give my opinions on what I think might come out of this, because I think there's a few changes that have implications that aren't that obvious at the surface. So I'll give you my opinions, and we'll try to learn about this 7.22b patch and maybe get ahead on other people. So first off, I think the most notable change is these Clinkz changes. The reason why it's most notable in my head is that the base strength is obviously very good. This makes him a much better laner because it's harder to get on top of him and burst him, meaning that he could probably turn around a lot more fights. What is this, 40 health? Yeah, 40 health is pretty notable in the laning stage. So just in general, it allows Clinkz to be a better laner, especially in the safe lane. I was talking to my friends when this patch came out and we discussed this, and one of the safe lane players, Yemson, you guys may know him, said that he basically thought a lot of these changes make Clinkz a much better safe laner, and it has some merit to it, right? You have better strength against the typical like jump heroes of the offlane, which is naturally good, and then even though your searing arrows went down from 30 to 20, the mana cost also went down, and in the safe lane, it's very hard to use the courier and ship out things like mangoes or any sort of mana regeneration item, and you're going to get contested on a lot more CS. Maybe that's not the bigger of the 2 points, because you're going to get contested mid anyway. But now that the mana cost is half, you can basically just spam searing arrows for nearly every single auto attack, meaning that you're going to guarantee the majority of CS and be able to harass without drawing creep aggro, which in the safe lane is crucial. So I think this is a buff. At first glance, it looked like a nerf to me, but I'm leaning towards that it's a buff. We'll have to see, and I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it, because weird change, just a weird change. Also, he got this talent change. That's a nerf, obviously, but, you know, whatever. Dark Willow got a base attack time increase, meaning that she attacks less often. In addition, her Shadow Realm damage ramp-up time went from 3 to 4, meaning that when she goes into Shadow Realm, the amount of time it takes to start dealing the maximum damage that it can do, it takes longer, meaning that this is a direct nerf, in my opinion, to the Aghs that was seen as basically broken. So yeah, overall, nerfs towards the Aghs. This also hurts Willow's laning stage, so pretty big nerfs here, especially towards the Aghs build. I don't think this kills the hero, I think it's just dissuading the Aghs. Is the Aghs still good? Probably. It's probably still pretty good. Just what it does is really, really strong. So I believe there's still a lot of viability in the Aghs, just they're trying to dissuade it a little bit. Same thing for Grimstroke, similar to the Dark Willow changes. It's not that you won't buy this Aghs at all anymore, because in some games people aren't going to be able to hit the illusions as is, or it's hard for them to hit them, or it's just hard to even notice that they're hitting you, especially because they're spell immune. So as a result, they're much easier to kill now, 150% more damage. This was a needed change. The problem with these illusions were that they have spell immunity and only took 2 times the damage, which just isn't that much. And they also nerfed the duration, which is obviously it's just worse in that regard. 5 seconds is actually quite a lot, considering that means the gap between the duration and the cooldown is a lot longer, and I think that uptime is kind of what made this strong. I believe it's like, what, a 35-second cooldown? Basically, I think one of the main strengths of this Aghs was the fact that it had only a 15-second downtime. In addition, it's just a 20-second illusion. That's crazy. So yeah, creating this gap is definitely needed. Moving on, like in Scepter Wolves, Golden XP bounty is reduced by half, and they fixed the Scepter Wolves not gaining crit during shapeshift. So they're adding some viability to the Lycan Aghs. It's definitely one of the weaker Aghs of the patch. Basically, it's very hard to spend 4,200 gold on an item like Aghs, rather than buying something, or buying components towards an AC, or maybe even a Basher or Deso, just to have some wolves in the lane. It's not that you don't want to push the lanes, it's just that they're not that fast. They only run at the creep wave movement speed. There's only 2 of them. And sure, you can buff them, but I don't think that makes it viable enough to spend 4,200 gold. Would you take it off a free Roche? Sure, but in general, they're just trying to make it more viable. Necro got a really weird change. I didn't even feel like Necro was in the light, or the limelight of the recent meta. I do think Necro was pretty good, but they changed Heartstopper Aura damage type from pure to magical, which is bizarre to me because that's quite a big nerf. I'm trying to think of why this would potentially be a buff. maybe because it works with Veil, but the thing is that doesn't make any sense because then they would still do about the same damage, like magical damage. With Veil and Pure are about the same if there's like with average resistance, so especially considering people as is by Piping Glimmer against Necro, this even seems like a bigger nerf. Yeah, I don't really know why this happened. Maybe Necro was popular in some other regions that I'm not familiar with, but from first glance, I don't really get this. And finally, Slark got Essence Shift level 4 duration reduced from 120 to 100. Once again, I'm a little bit curious on why Icefrog would decide to immediately nerf a hero that just got a buff, especially considering it's only, like 2-3 days into the patch. So I kind of would have liked to see Slark maybe be popular for a month, even though I don't really like the hero, to be honest. I don't like playing with it or against it. I think that's a lot of people's opinion, though, on Slark. So I wish he left Slark alone maybe for a little bit longer, because taking off 20 seconds of Essence Shift level 4 means that you potentially might not have your Essence Shift for a second fight or a Roshan, potentially, considering it starts ticking from the time you hit the person. So this is quite a big nerf. I'm not saying it like changes the whole dynamic of the hero, but I'm kind of confused by these Necros and Slark changes. It's such a weird patch, right? 527, crazy to me, really crazy. But yeah, interesting patch. I think it's cool that Icefrog is willing to make such a brief and quick patch. I'm quite fond of these because I think it not that it throws people off, but it really forces you to continue thinking about the game, which is something I love doing, and maybe you guys like doing as well. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think was the biggest change of this patch. I personally think it was Clinkz, basically changing the type of hero or what role he might become more popular in. Other than that, I think Dark Willow is a very fair argument because her act was just so good. Alright, thank you guys for watching. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe a 7.22c coming out shortly as well. That would be pretty insane. Hey guys, before I leave you, I just want to remind you that over at gameleap.com, you can check out guides just like this one, made by top tier pros. It will help you gain MMR faster, it will help you learn the game much more in depth, and overall, just increase the experience of your Dota gameplay as you will crush your opponents simply by knowing more than them.